All right, so I've got this clean version. I've saved it. Now I'm going to select it all and just show you something else we can do to the whole thing to smooth it out and simplify it. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go to my layers, make a new layer on top, paste in place. This will now be the green layer. Lock the one underneath, so I'm just seeing the green. And now, once everything is selected, if I go up to Object, we're going to do the object modifiers. And then I go to Path, because these are paths, not strokes. They're filled in shapes. I'm going to say Path Simplify. And with the Path Simplify tool, if I turn on Preview, it will show me different variations on those shapes if I want to kind of smooth them all out, basically getting rid of tools. So if I go at a curve precision of 100 and an angle threshold of 180, that's basically what it looks like when I start it. But if I start to take down those features and simplify it more, especially for images you don't want as complex, you can see how the blue lines, which are from the original, are starting to vary a lot with the green lines. Right. So if we look at just her eye, this will be a lot more angular than if I allow for a lot more curves. But sometimes we need to simplify like that. So if I say OK now, this has greatly simplified the number of anchor points everywhere. And that's very different than what's underneath, which is this. So if we just look at the eyebrow, it perfectly smooths it out for me. But it also might smooth out and simplify things that you wanted more complex. So notice my arrow got all wonky and soft. So I tend to use the path modifications on specific things. So instead of doing it there, I might do it just on the eyebrow here. So I select that eyebrow. I say Object, Path, Simplify. And I play with it. Let's get that whole eyebrow in there. I get all those anchor points. Because remember, it's made up of all these images. So if I just select all of that, now I have that whole eyebrow. Now if I say Object, Path, Simplify, it will smooth it out until I'm satisfied. Because I actually like all the little bumps and stuff in the mask, makes it look more machine-like. Yeah, so now it's just about these kind of final areas. Smoothing some things out. And you'll learn a lot about Illustrator as you're experimenting. Okay, so once your image is nice and clean, and this looks pretty good, then you can kind of move on to saving it. And so I'm going to show you how to save this. Let's say this was my finished black and white logo. Some last minute adjustments to this thumb here. It's a very different way of drawing. It's more like cutting out of paper. All right, so now, I think I might want to cut out this arrow since the other one is. So I'm going to use the eraser. Remember, it's nice and small now. I'm going to use it to kind of show a break with the edge. So now we've got to save it. So once I've smoothed this out, because I'm in the pencil tool still, I can make these angles a little bit more abrupt, a little bit harder. I think that will make for a better illustration, better image. Oops. But if I was using the smooth tool, it could only make it softer. So the pencil tool can do both. And remember, if you hold down Option now with the pencil tool, you can use a straight pencil tool. And connect point to point, like so. So with this new version, they've changed a lot of little things. And again, you hold down Command and you'll get to the small selection tool, which comes in handy here. Lots to play with. Okay, so now I got to fix this. Let it just extend out like that. Fix this. So once you're happy with the overall illustration, which I never am. I should really move on though. Then we're going to save it in two ways. Once as an EPS, which is a type of file that allows us to bring it over into Photoshop. And once as an Illustrator file, which is our working file. There's a lot of smoothing I can do on these. Maybe I'll come back and do it because I'm liking this illustration. Okay. So first, doesn't matter how many layers you have, it just matters what layers are turned on and which are turned off, right? So I'm not using this layer on top at all, which is too simplified, but I'll keep it there, there's no harm. I'm gonna say File, Save As, and first, you always wanna have your name. Save to the desktop, and the first type is the working file as an Illustrator file, save, keep all of the presets, PDF compatible, all that good stuff. Now we're going to say File, Save As, an EPS, and that allows us to play with it in Photoshop as well. And the EPS is the type of file format you can preview outside of Illustrator. So if I click on my EPS, Illustrator will convert it. It's taking a while because this is a complex vector. And then when I zoom in, it will show me that it's perfectly smooth everywhere. So pretty neat. The advantages of vectors are enormous. Just takes a while to get them really nice. Okay, I said I would show you one other way you could kind of trace it and get an idea. So these are looking good so far. But I also might want to try something else. So I've given you access to this website vectoring program I like a lot. If you just go to my website, where we find some of our online sketch tools, carlfrei.com, and instead of entering the site, oh no, it's terrible. My site is down. If you go to the site and scroll down, you'll see these options. And if you click on this one, it takes you to Vector Magic. And you can always just go to vectormagic.com. Now this is a program you buy, but it allows you to preview it. And it has some really good algorithms. So if I go to my desktop and I find my PNG test, the same one I brought into Photoshop, and I shrink it down to be less than 10 megapixels, so I can do that right in preview. So go to Tools, Image Size, because it doesn't need to be very big to be effective here. Yeah, I scanned it at a really high resolution, so let me take it down to like 200 pixels per inch, just for this purpose. And then save that change, good. Okay, now if I bring that in, let me put it on hand-pick settings so you can see the different options you have doing it this way. It uploads the original and then it starts to trace it, and you have to tell it how. And we want, it's an anti-aliased image with blended images. Let's say it's about medium. And I want custom colors. I want just black and white. And maybe I even want my whites just perfectly clean. And you can even change them here if you want. And I say next, and it's going to trace it, just like live tracing in Illustrator. But I like how they deal with some of the details better, though the new version of Illustrator has taken a lot from this algorithm to give you better results. Now, if you own this program, the Vector Magic program, and you buy it from the site, you can output as an EPS, as a vector. But using it for free, what I often do is just do a screen grab of its preview, and then I take that to Illustrator, and it's a nice way of kind of simplifying your image as well. A way of digitally tracing without having to work too hard. Okay, while that's processing, let's go through the same process in Illustrator with my explosion. So I cleaned up my explosion. It's just a pencil sketch, cleaned it up in Photoshop, bring it into Illustrator, and I'm going to say as silhouettes, trace it, and then I'm going to look close and see that it smoothed it out very nicely. But maybe I want slightly less of a threshold so it's not so thick. So about there, and then if I like it, I just hit expand. And now I can work on cleaning that up